Looks like we got a new friend!
everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Conan Grains of Sand. Before we go around and say hello to everyone, please take a moment to check out our wall of links that the bot is now going to spam you with. We've got all of our, thank you so much, Fook, for all the biddies. That's 500 biddies, have all of my Twitch RPG bits. Was that your goofs? I didn't read it in time before it faded. Your glorious lovelies, not goose, glorious lovelies. Thank you so much. Or you can gift someone a D6 of that. Let us know who and we'll do it. But in that wall of links, you can find all of our social links, all of the ways you can support us, all of the information about our sponsors, and our various 10 to 15% discount codes, including tabletoploot.com, erasavad.com, and rootink.com. You should check those out. Also, we have a big thank you for Bird and the Storm Publishing and Magehand Press, who make this all possible, frankly. Big thanks to them. Let's go around and say hello to everyone. Why don't I go anti-clockwise this week and start with Sheepdog? Oh, hi, Sheepy.
Hello. I'm Sheepdog. Yeah, I think we went anti-clockwise last week.
Yeah,
well.
I don't actually, like, keep a track or anything, you know. I just...
No?
No.
Well, I'm perfectly happy going first again. Hey there, guys. I'm Sheepdog. I play Hodeur. And yeah, I am interested in seeing where we go today.
Thank you very
Animal
much.
Prince, probably.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tater, as well, who gives 100 bits, whatever this gives to Hodeur. I can tell you that, who is now French, apparently, from that pronunciation. Oh, dear. In Conan, that is momentum. That is momentum that goes into the pool, and gifted momentum ignores the cap. So, I believe there's I can't remember where you were. I also found out an interesting rule that told me I'm supposed to reset the momentum and fret each week, but we're going to ignore that. Yeah, so thank you very much. Tiliang got the D6, and Tiliang, it is you next. Oh, hi.
Hello, I am Dark Aardvark, also known as Natalie. In this game, I am Tiliang. Was that all we were supposed to do?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah,
Good enough.
Great. Yeah, you passed. It's mission successful.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. There we are. I knew I had a D6 I could copy and paste somewhere. Thank you. And last but most certainly not least, despite apparently coming to them last for a couple of weeks on a row now, Torn Pixie. Oh, hi.
Hello, I'm Torn Pixie, and I play Mimir. Oh, God.
What have I missed?
I don't know. I don't know.
There was a pig tree, you know, it's just one's fruit.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. So, before we, this week we're going to move on from the town of... Where the hell were we? From the town of Yazud, and we are going to be moving on to the town of Zamora. But before we go, Hodeur had commissioned an item before we left.
Yes.
Hodeur, when you return to the blacksmith, they have created a... you could call it an axe. It is a, they haven't gone for a straight shaft. It has a curved shaft, slightly to the left,
Okay.
with a large jagged blade. You can see the folds in the metal from where they have folded the metal many times, because they glow a faint red as though tainted slightly by the blood used in the forging. All across the edge glistens the blue diamond that you gave them. It runs along the edge, making a serrated. So it's not a metal edge at all. It's a diamond edge.
Okay. That's interesting. I assume he explains all of this to...
Yes, he does. And you can feel the serrated edges and the curvature of the shaft. And he will describe in how the crimson, how the folds in the metal shine crimson in the light.
This sounds like really good work. Thank you.
I do my best. I hope your liege lord enjoys it.
Yes. So do I. We will see. If I ever meet someone who needs good work done, I'll send them your way.
Appreciated. Thank you, my friend. You wanted some additional axes crafted, perhaps?
I do not have the money for it, so we will not worry about that for now. If I come into some, I will come back. I will order them.
I can't ask for fairer than that. May your blade find a home in your enemies and not in yourself.
I use a staff, but thank you. I wander off with the axe. And I take it back to camp to give to Mimir. So no need for like any big gathering of people. I'll just wander up with the axe in hand. And one thing I can't remember, and I don't know if I noted it down, was Mimir's second name. Did I write it down?
It's Bjarnason.
That's right, it is. I will write it down. Jarl Bjarnason, I had this made for you. I feel like you are in a higher position now. You should have a better weapon. Its name is Kvasir, but you may name it what you like.
You did not have to do this.
I know.
But thank you. Thank you.
And I hand over the axe. And it looks how Scrap previously described it.
Mechanically, this is the same as a battle axe, except it has the following qualities. It is intense, it has vicious 2, and it has persistent 1. The persistent damage is bleeding damage. Essentially, the vicious 2 means that it will inflict 2 additional damage for each effect rolled. So when you roll on your damage dice and get 1 plus effect, you get an additional 2 damage rather than just 1. And the persistent is they suffer X damage dice damage at the start of each subsequent turns, equal to the number of effects rolled.
Okay, what was that? That was vicious and what?
Persistent. Intense, vicious, and persistent.
There's numbers attached to each of those, correct?
Yes, persistent 1 and vicious 2.
Okay.
We have 4 days of travel. During that time, I assume we continue to train, making camps each night. At some point, almost certainly, the princess will call you for counsel. And with a furrowed brow, she asks you, how close do you think we need to get to Zamora before we can start skipping rests? I'm conscious that every day is another family member lost, and whilst I don't want to arrive tired, I also don't want to arrive too late.
I mean, we're looking to go in and be in battle. Honestly, I wouldn't put, especially with the children, I don't know about the regiments coming in, but more than one day without rest, and I understand it's your family. I know it's hard. But I mean, and yourself as well. Most of you aren't even battle tested. Not really.
Yes. We don't have the time, but we could almost use a skirmish on the way. Ooh, that's the first time I've said a sentence like
Careful
that.
what you say. Careful what you say. The fates have a way. And a skirmish could very well end up costing more time.
That's as I fear. And I wouldn't say she becomes stern, but she does become slightly pensive over the next few days. You can see the frustrations on having to move at a steady pace because of sensibility weighing heavy on her. Perhaps you can feel her wanting to run, flee.
I assume I'm taking on the training for the most part of the princess still.
She would.
I did hand it over to Mimir for the day, but
Yeah, she
I
would.
think we would be switching off on it, wouldn't we?
okay.
Because we both have different skills and different ways we teach.
True. In my training sessions, I am running her ragged with the clock sprint training until she's absolutely knackered, basically.
You're probably afternoon then.
Yeah.
And what will Mimir be training?
Back to this previous stuff, finding the right weapons, learning how to use them, the finer points with them. As she gets more proficient, showing her more stuff.
Okay, well, in 3 days, I don't think she would be keen to try many other weapons than the longsword or rapier. But if you'd like to push her towards others, you could do that. Would you want her to focus, or would you prefer her to vary?
We'd probably have some time focusing back on the rapier, but also working with others. If she drops her rapier, she's going to need to be able to at least use the other ones.
Okay. Her fingers aren't quite as nimble with the dagger yet, but she has a surprising grace with the whip. She claims that when she used to dance, they would often use ribbons, and it felt similar.
Very much.
How about Tiliang? In this time, Tiliang, do you contribute to the training at all? And to all three of you, what happens of evening time when you're not training?
Tiliang would teach, I guess, maybe some improvised weapons, because she uses a pickaxe for her main melee weapon, but also focus on shooting bows. I don't know how many are in the group, but Tiliang has 2 herself, and she'd loan out her hunting bow, which was the first bow she started with, to somebody else to use.
Mm-hmm. And do you do that of an evening, or when would that fit in with the other 2 trainings?
It'd probably be a good midday thing when it's too hot to travel or do other sorts of training for the shooting part.
Okay. Yeah. So mid sort of day around lunch sort of thing. So
Yeah.
between the 3 of you, you work hard. And I suppose whilst one is teaching the princess, the other is teaching the warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with them as well, I'm pretty much going to do the same thing, just train them in stamina. Instead of the quick run, because the princess has 0 stamina, a lot of these warriors are a bit more versed in exercise. I'll just have them weight training, in the sense of packing them with gear and then running them around for a while until my time's up with them.
Okay. And Okay, so you are, with this sort of heavy training on all parts, stamina training, induces a lot of sweat. So you would know that halfway through your journey to Zamora, you're going to need, or at least at some point during your journey, you're going to need to find another water source to refill.
And I will tell that to the princess and to Nanette.
I can just imagine the princess after a long day training. You've just run her racket, and then you're like, "We're going to need to find more water because look at you," you know. Like...
Yeah.
Okay. So this continues for about 4 days, and on the.
I'm thinking evening-wise because I know Mimir and Hodir have not been to Zamora. The princess is from there. We'd want a layout, so we'd probably be pressing her for information on that so we could actually form plans.
Well, she'll quite earnestly.
From Maps Princess.
She would quite earnestly tell you that she doesn't know much of the city. It's rumored that one of her sisters used to sneak out and visit the city, but she was never allowed or never sneaky enough to do so. But she can tell you a lot about the she can tell you a lot about the palace itself, about its fortifications, about where the guards move. It would seem she had free reign of the palace.
Well, that's still really useful and stuff we wouldn't have had otherwise. So
you can tell there's a certain fondness though as well. There's a mix of Zamoran and Aquilonian guards. And not all of the Aquilonians were cruel, and not all of the Zamorans were nice, but she will talk about the guards with a familiarity, referring to them by name, about the guards that would pass her sweets, and the guards that would ignore her altogether. If you might get the impression that if this comes to a siege, she'll be torn. Anything else for evening time activities? Sorry.
I think that's really it. Unless Tilliang would happen to have the layout of the city as well.
I don't know. Is it a mining city? Because she was working in mine.
No, Zamora is a capital city. It is, however, I mean, let's have a look at this map here. It's only about 100 miles from the nearest mountain. Only?
It's a day's walk.
Yeah, just pop on the interstate and drive on down there. So no, I don't think she would know a whole lot about the city. Perhaps more than the princess, but not a lot.
Yeah, perhaps you might have more of a layout, maybe. You might, or rather, maybe you might know the sort of people that frequent the city. Perhaps your traders or merchants would have come from the city and would have told you about it, because it is certainly one of the biggest trade routes.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would relate what I know of the city to everybody.
Yeah.
And for Hodir, unless he's needed for whatever, in the evenings he's just gonna sit by himself, draw runes, and mumble at God. Mumble/grumble, you know, it's kind of a mix.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between the GR and the M. And I think the warriors would entertain themselves in the evenings after the stamina training that would happen in the morning. They wouldn't be up for doing too much like that, but they would have an exceeding amount of energy. You've given them a large amount of cardiac training, so you know they can do a fair bit before they get tired. They play games with sticks and things like that. At one point, they find a skull in the desert, and they formulate a game where they essentially use the skull as a ball. It's not a human skull. It's like you know, a goat skull or something. This will go on for about 3 or 4 days when you see sand being kicked up on the horizon. Another party. It heads your way. Almost certainly travelling between Zamora and Yazud.
Oh dear. That looks like trouble.
Well, it is not a terrible idea to get a little bit of practice in if it is enemy.
How many days has passed? Another 4? We should brace the princess.
Like physically or...
I don't know. How many days was she saying? Did they say? I can't remember how many days they said between.
I believe it was weekly.
Well, they're keeping to it. So we know
Seems
what
to
that
be.
is.
What would you like to do?
Well, I knew my family was being killed one at a time, week by week. I'd be well aware what day it is at this point.
I meant more, should we go and kill those people if they are enemies?
I mean, I don't know if it will make her feel better about it. Either way, I mean, what's the chances we run into them there? It could be less people we have to deal with if that's the case.
True.
Looks like we got a new friend!
She already knows what's going on and has to. I mean, she has to deal with it somehow, so I think just bringing it to her as the. Just telling her about it and asking her what we should do would be the thing. She's going to have bigger, more important decisions to make very soon, so.
At this rate, we should probably not be putting too much more time into training. We may want to leave this evening. If we don't, decide to take them on now.
Well, let's go ask the princess then, and then we'll see. Princess!
As you walk, Hodir, you stumble on a bottle on the ground.
Is that a potion?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I supposed to just drink it, or do I just take it?
I mean, you can save it to drink it at another time. There's a slim chance it could be a healing potion.
I will save it.
Okay.
It's not like a bottle of endless water, is it?
I mean, that's also a possibility. There's
Okay.
a lot of possibilities there.
No, I'll keep it for now.
Okay. You can find the princess. She is probably practicing the bow. It's around midday. She'll be getting ready for the stamina training this evening, and she will be firing arrows into the target. I mean, once you've sort of set her up to the Liang, she sometimes can do some personal study with the bow quite well.
Sure.
With a few pointers.
Well done, princess. That was a very good shot. You're muted. Crap.
You hear her sort of sigh and turn to you. You can almost see the smile on her face. Thank you, Hodir.
No problem.
There is sand on the horizon.
Yes. We don't know who it is yet, but we figured we'd talk to you and see what you wanted to do about it.
Are we talking as leader to leader or as friends at the moment?
Whichever you like. Which one would you prefer?
Pretending to think like a leader at least numbs the pain a little. I think we should assess the situation and see if they are the party that carry my sister's head.
Sounds like a wise and cautious choice.
We definitely look like mercenary company. I don't suppose there's any way we could hide hide that, is there?
There's probably no much point.
A mercenary company's not allowed.
No, they're allowed. It's just having a mercenary company heading towards the capital after an announcement like that could be viewed a certain way, I guess. I mean,
oh hey, somebody went and hired a group of assassins to go and assassinate the people who are assassinating the royals, right?
well, that's... If I was in charge and I did something like this, then I might be suspicious of exactly that, yes.
Maybe we get ourselves a wagon to hide all the weapons and we go in as merchants somehow.
We won't be able to get a wagon before we encounter this group, will we?
No, I think for now we can just, well, can we not get a wagon in town?
Yes, we probably could, yes.
Why don't you just take Sleipnir and go scout out what someone? I would volunteer myself, but I don't think I would bring back brilliant information.
The only thing with that is I believe Sleipnir kind of stands out.
I could potentially go. I don't think I look like a mercenary.
There you go then.
I'm agreeable.
All right, I will go scout them out.
Be careful with my horse, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you prepare to go and investigate, what do you take with you? Chat asks a pertinent question. Do you take your bow?
Yes, I would take the, I guess just the bow, and a water skin and that, that sort of stuff, but leave the pickaxe and the spare bow behind to look more like, just if I'm seeing a hunter traveling between,
Okay.
cities or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that you, no matter who you are, it'd be madness to go out into the wilderness without some sort of armaments.
Yeah.
At least hunting armaments. Okay, so Tiliang will ride away. Before we follow you, Tiliang, what would Hodir Mimir and the princess do in terms of preparation?
I think with the news incoming, I think would be a horrible night to take the princess out for a drink.
Of course, You are been traveling for 4 days. You are in the middle of the desert. There's maybe a trading post or two between Zamora and Yazud, but none. They're spaced.
I missed the bit where we were where we'd already been traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We could get her drunk anyway.
We could.
It may not be the best idea, but...
Tipsy, not drunk.
How does this look?
I think as we're sitting down to dinner, Mimir's gonna offer her a cup with some alcohol in it. Probably wine. You noticed wine seems to be a thing for her.
And I assume this would be an irregularity?
I don't believe he's done it before.
She eyes you suspiciously for a moment. Mimir? Wine today?
Well, it's not like we didn't see a bunch of dust on the horizon. It's not like we don't know how many days have passed.
So you wish to numb me from the pain?
But I don't want you getting drunk. But maybe take the edge off of it.
For just a moment, I thought you had maybe some good news that we were celebrating.
We don't like to celebrate until we know things for certain. I'd like to say that we know for a fact that we get there and we handle the situation. But stories from my own culture show celebrating too soon. It tends to, like, it's almost like it curses.
It tempts the fates.
She takes the wine and begins to drink. Not slowly at first. At first she takes a long draught and then sort of like stops herself. What does your god have to say on this matter, Hodir? I hear you muttering in the evenings.
He doesn't very often talk. Mostly he is vague. I don't know. Since we formed since we formed the clan, I've been a bit more distant from him, to be honest. Like he's always been very vague in kind of like a head in this direction kind of feeling, and I've always kind of gone along with it for the most part, but you know, but this is something this is something Hoda specifically wants to do, like, you know, forming a clan, following Mimir, so he's not as interested in what the god wants, really. I assume he's had a few feelings and etc. since all this down, but
yeah, you've had a couple. You do get a sense of amusement now and then. Not the sort of content sort of will go this way or anything like that, but not as though your god's laughing at you, but more laughing with you. If you were laughing.
Hoda does not often laugh.
Laughing for you, then, perhaps.
He seems entertained. Perhaps we are putting on a good show. I don't know.
we'll skip across to Tiliang. Tiliang, it's mid-afternoon by the time you are within range of this party. You can see another. I've forgotten what they're called. Are they called palanquins or palanquins? The large things that are carried by people.
Palanquins.
Yeah.
I think.
Something like
Palanquins. Something like that.
something like that. You could see a large wooden structure carried by several people, smaller than the last, and they are carrying this. It looks like it's carrying a coach almost, carrying almost a small building on this thing with eight people carrying it, almost certainly slaves. Around them are people in white with the flowers that you've come to recognize. Why don't you make me a check for how much information you can gather at a distance, and if you want to get closer, we can come to that as we go. Observation, perhaps? Oh. Critical success is going on. With a critical success, the momentum pool is already maxed out, so you can't add any more to that, but you would have done. On the critical success, you can see there are 2 guards at the back of the train and 1 guard on horseback at the front of the train. That seems to be the only guard with this group. Although with the critical success, I'll also tell you that it looks like the holy men are more like monks than priests. They look trained to fight, or at least lean of body. You're muted.
There's 2 guards at the front and 1 at the rear?
2 at the rear and 1 at the front.
2 at the rear and 1 at the front. And it's just the priests and the guards. There's no other like civilians with them.
Apart from the slaves, no.
Oh, the slaves. Okay.
Slaves carry this
Sure.
thing, but it seems like there's monks and presumably people inside. There's cloth all over the windows.
Sure. Does it look like the same carriage that we saw, or whatever it's called, before in the...
It looks similar, but less grandeur, smaller.
Okay. I guess, why not? Let's try to get a little closer.
Sure thing. Is there any skill you would like to use to try and get closer?
Yes, there is. Stealth would be the one.
Yep, you can almost certainly use stealth to try and sneak across the dunes closer. Okay, with 1 success, that will be a success. You can get to medium range. Why don't you tell us how this looks?
Tilly drops off the dismounts the horse, and figures it'll be trained well enough to not run away, and kind of starts creeping along, looking back to make sure what the horse is doing, and then kind of picking her way between dunes to stay and kind of staying low so that the dunes provide her cover as she winds through, trying to sort of like on an intercept course to get to them. Well, not get to them, but to get closer to them without going over the tops of the dunes.
Yeah, okay. So, like I say, you can get within medium range. using the dunes for cover. You find this quite easy. It makes you perhaps you grew up in the desert, so this is almost second nature to you. At medium range, it's a similar story to before. You can see better the details about the people. For example,
Sure.
you can see various heights. It seems that the people are of various races, which means they're not all Zamoran, so almost certainly serving a higher power rather than serving the nation. Perhaps could indicate their loyalties are where their loyalties lay.
I I guess I'll try to watch just a little bit longer and see if there's if I can try to discern who or how many people might be inside the conveyance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you need to get you'd need to get within close range to do this. It'd be another stealth check.
Okay.
This-
I will.
Go on.
I will do that.
This time it'll be difficulty 2. So if you'd like to use any momentum to add an extra dice, you can.
I will. Yeah, I'll definitely add one.
Difficulty 2 with a critical success. Yeah, you can get within close range. You can almost be hiding, almost touching the monks that are flanking this palanquin. How will this look?
There happens to be a bit of a bend in the. She can kind of see. It's the desert and sands, but she can kind of. She's been watching them long enough that she kind of has an eye for how they navigate through the dunes, and is able to kind of, using her same sneaking through the dunes trick, kind of wind up looking kind of like if the dunes were buildings, like she'd be peering between like an alley, like a really narrow space in between two buildings sort of thing. So she has a good view, but they're probably not going to see unless they're specifically keyed in and looking for somebody doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, so sort of like blending into the dunes and waiting for them to pass. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So as the train passes, you can hear voices from inside the palanquin. You can hear what sounds like a certainly a very forceful woman who just seems to make conversation for the sake of conversation. Talking about different monks and how their training is coming on, talking about different nobles and how their drinking gets on, talking about parties they visited in the Zamoran capital. The second person you can hear speaks much less. You can hear them as they occasionally say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, we should stay focused on the task at hand, ma'am, etc.
Do they have? Do they sound Zamoran? Like, do they have the same?
The woman sounds Zamoran.
Okay.
The male, potentially male presenting voice, sounds Aquilonian. Has an Aquilonian accent.
Is there any way I could use that information, like the woman who seems to be of power and the mother, traveling with the this religious order, like suss out who they are at all? Is it
Yeah, sure. There's got to be a check for that. How about society? Society seems perfect.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
And since I spent a momentum, but I got the critical, so did that bring us back to full?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay,
indeed.
I'm going to spend another momentum because this could be big deal. And I got nothing.
Yeah, on this occasion, the voice seems familiar. They seem like someone well known, but you can't put your finger on it.
Sure. I'll wait for them to pass. So getting back to the horse isn't that big of an issue.
Oh no, you can get back to the horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter
And
of
then-
waiting until they pass, right? So.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a patient. Is there a patient stat?
Yeah. So she'll just wait a little bit and then head back with haste on the horse.
Okay. So by the time you arrive, Tiliang, you will arrive just towards the end of supper, as it's evening time. You can see that the from the trajectory that they are moving, they almost certainly have seen this group as well by now, and will be on a. It's up in the air. You know they will have seen them. Whether they stop or whether they move to intercept or move to avoid isn't clear yet. But you've got about 2 hours until intercept, if that's the course they choose, or the course you choose.
Sure. All right. I will get back and I will find the princess and Hoder and Mimir and gather them together and let them know what I saw.
The princess will be down 1 glass of wine at this point.
Sure.
She's not acting any different, but you can maybe see a slight staining on her lips. Cracked lips in the sand, red wine,
Yeah. There's only 3 armored guards with them. The rest appear to be slaves. The rest of their number is the slaves are just carrying the palanquin. But the holy men with them appear to be, they're leaner and more, they seem like they could be a fighting force as well as, or maybe disguised as religious, or maybe both. There's based purely on voice inside the palanquin, I heard a woman who was very chatty and knowledgeable, and another voice that seemed to be her son, and I think I might have heard about who this could be, but it's just escaping my brain right now. But I don't think, I don't know yet, but I don't think that they would be coming for us. I mean, even if all those holy guys are combat worthy, they didn't really seem kitted out to take down armed people. But I don't know. I think we could cut them off if they're not coming to us, or maybe just wait and they'll pass up. I don't know.
They were on the trail, yes?
Yes, they were making their way. It still can't confirm either way, but it does appear that they're heading back to where we came from.
Did you happen to see any good places where we could potentially have an advantage against them? Because I'm thinking if there was anywhere where there was maybe high ground or something.
We can have a retroactive warfare roll if you would like to take one.
Sure. One success.
Muted, mate.
Thank you. It seems the dunes are higher, but not for some distance. That seems to be the only real advantage around. There's no like convenient forts or anything. But You were able to hide in the dunes until they were right on top of you, and if the party was similarly capable, you could potentially leave a dummy camp and do the same thing.
Okay.
If they're coming to you, of course.
Sure. If they're coming to us, we could lay an ambush. Otherwise, a little ways down, we might be able to beat them to some higher dunes and hide in there and come out for an ambush. So I guess that would be the option. So like I said, I got close enough to hear them in the talking, and I could have probably reached out and grabbed one of the holy people. So that seems pretty viable, but that's about all I can think of. There's no tree line or anything to hide in out here, so.
I think our best bet then would be potentially stay put. If they come here, then we handle it. If not, we let them pass. Either way, it would take them time to get back to the capital, since that is where we are headed, and they are going the opposite direction.
True.
If they are coming from the capital, though, we could get information or anything from these people. It might be worth questioning them if we want to. It is just a thought.
Very good one.
Would you like me to remain hidden?
Tyra, I don't think they will recognize you. Unless it is a speech pattern thing.
Doubtful.
I honestly haven't noticed if you talk any different from Tillying, so I can't tell.
No, I was raised to have
Sorry.
an Apollonian accent, I'm afraid.
That might stand out a bit.
Perhaps. I will not assume any sort of leadership during this event. Jarl, you take the lead. I'll stand back unless anything else happens. These are your people anyway. I think I will only cause complications. I'll try and avoid notice as much as possible.
So are we going to take them, or are we going to let them pass?
I mean, we have no way of knowing who these people are. It sounds like they might be able to fight. Might be good for the children to test on. But then again, if we lose any of them...
We are going to war, to battle. We will lose some. That is something that will happen.
Yeah.
But they have pledged themselves to die, so they must prepare themselves for that. As we all do. How about this? I stand in their way as they come down the path. I will refuse to move, I will stop them, and then you can decide whether to jump out and attack them or to talk to them. Either way. If they come at me, they will not get past my stuff. It seems like the safest way to start an interaction with them. And it only puts me in danger, and I will not be in that much danger.
It sounds like that is really our best option, although I still do not like it.
Okay. We have a plan. Although, I say this, but Tiliang, I hope you will cover me with your bow, please.
Absolutely.
I would not like to get stabbed by a monk.
Does that sound like a good day?
I was gonna say, I would assume you just don't like getting stabbed.
It has happened a few times. You get used to it.
Grows on you. Okay, so it's maybe an hour and a half later when you are certain that they are heading your way.
I will stand in the path as they are moving towards.
I'll help.
I'll have Sleipnir with me as well.
Okay, as they are coming forward, the horseman at the front holds up hands. Oh, there. Oh, horseman!
I'm not a horseman. I just have a horse.
Okay then, stranger.
That works. Hello.
You travel in the desert towards the capital.
I travel in the desert. I do not have a path.
You are with a group.
Was that a question or a statement?
Perhaps both.
Okay.
You are alone.
No. I have my horse with me.
A couple of the
And
monks.
Michael.
A couple of the monks chuckle at that. There is humor in you, stranger. To what end does your group travel?
Are you asking where are we going, or...
Or what is your trade, perhaps? You have the look of a warrior.
Yes, I am a warrior.
And your group is also warriors?
Some of them, sure.
Mercenaries, then. Do you sell your trade?
I have done.
We are escorting a priestess between cities. Perhaps we can share a camp this evening.
We are going in opposite directions, so...
We would part in the morning.
That would be up to our leader. But I see no problem with that.
And who is your leader?
They are around here somewhere. Unfortunately, I cannot see them right now.
Looks at you quizzically, which of course you can't really see, but there's a hesitation. Waves a hand at you. Stranger, I get the impression you cannot see much at all.
You would be correct.
Curious. Yet you are a warrior.
Among other things.
Sure you will make for interesting company. I will speak with the priestess, and you should speak with your leader and see if this is an agreeable arrangement. I wouldn't like to travel halfway through the night for fear of an ambush.
Yes, an ambush would be a terrible thing.
Indeed. And though you can't see it, he looks at you like he furrows his brow at you like, was that a threat? Or was that just a passing comment?
It's so hard to tell with Hotel. Even the princess hasn't figured it out.
And, okay, I will go and confer now. Hopefully we'll speak to your leader shortly.
We will see.
And you hear the horse turn and move away from you.
Just gonna stand there. Basically, the what I am doing is just blocking their way until everyone else decides what they want to do. So, you know.
Okay, so is anything going on back at camp during this time?
I think, unless we hear from Hodir, I don't think we have a whole lot of reason to move out unless we've... Well, we should probably talk about it, actually.
I imagine you have someone, at least someone, like, looking over me to report back. So you can probably, you know, have a decent idea of what's gone down.
Yeah, we'll say that there's a scout with Tiliang covering you from a nearby dune. They'll head back to tell you, Mimir, what's gone on.
The problem in that being that they are expecting him to go and grab his leader without him going and grabbing me. That would be then. That would make it very difficult for him to then go back. And I'm sure that whether we've seen it or not, they probably have a scout somewhere as well. And it would be very odd to give an answer that requires a leader without going and talking to a leader. We might be able to get more information from them. So I think it may not be a bad idea to have them share camp.
You're muted.
Do you send this information to Hodir, or do you,
Via the scout.
Well, what's the message? Is it basically let them through or bring their leader to talk to you, or what?
Well, I think it would be best for us to talk, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. So are you coming to meet them yourself, or?
No, because the thing was they said for you to go talk to your leader. If you don't leave your position, how are you going to go talk to your leader? We need to at least make it look like we did that much.
Okay. So it's basically come back, pretend to talk to Mimir, and then go and give them the message. Okay. So I'll leave Sleipnir there and wander back to talk to Mimir. Okay. Now I'm here.
Yep. And then we go. What is the feeling you got from talking to them before we make a decision?
I don't really know. They don't seem to be geared up for war.
Well, I doubt they have any reason to suspect it at this point.
Well, yes, that is true. But they don't seem on high alert or worried about, precisely worried about fighting. I also don't think they are particularly on guard. So I think I disarmed them with my wit and personality.
Well, okay. Yeah, we'll share camp. So I'll go with you.
Okay.
I assume you would like your horse, since you left it.
He is fine. He does what he likes.
It is a nice horse. We are not leaving it.
Yes.
I'll probably take it.
So we'll head back.
As you approach back to where you were, you hear the horseman has already returned. He says, "Ho there, stranger. Yes, we will."
No.
Oh, you must be the leader.
I am.
He bows on horseback. Not a pretty bow. Well, no, a very pretty bow, but not a very warrior-esque bow. It looks more noble. You know, bows of a flourish. The priestess has deigned to join you. Should you have us this evening?
I don't see why not. There's always safety in numbers.
That is our feeling.
I have a question. Does Mimir have Crosshair with him? The axe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because it's kind of badass.
Well then, we will make camp just across the way from yours. Perhaps we could join you in your tent, or perhaps you would like to join us in ours, and we can dine together.
I fear my tent is rather small for sharing. We tend to have rather small tents. Easier for packing up.
Yes, well, we don't do the packing, so not a problem. We have plenty of room. Already you can see the palanquin has been set down, and the nearly unclothed except for decency in the desert sand. They're already setting up the camp for the monks and priestess.
Well, you'll see if any of the rest of us wish to join. I think as for myself, I will probably be in my camp. Unless they join. But yes, you're welcome to camp here.
Most amenable arrangement. And he sort of turns and tell me, what do you have in the way of victuals? Do you have wine?
We have little wine.
We have a lot of wine. We'd be glad to share.
We will see if my people feel up to drinking. Thank you.
Meeting in the desert without bloodshed. To me, that seems a thing worth celebrating.
The night is young.
Again, there's that long hesitation.
Excuse my friend here.
Does he
If you cannot tell, we are from another country, and our manners may seem a bit off-putting. We are just very, very to the point. It is, in fact, still young.
It is. Northmen, correct?
Yes.
I had a post there once. When I was a new recruit.
It's a beautiful country. I miss it much. Maybe someday I go home.
Maybe. Well, I will go and see to the men. And turns his horse and heads over towards where the camp is being set up.
I think that went well.
But dear, I think you scared the shit out of him.
Tiliang will say that you were on a nearby dune providing cover and you would have heard the whole thing.
Sure.
The news that they will be drinking is quite welcome. We still need to come up with a plan. Maybe depending on the information we get, we act first. Well, we don't act first. We get information, then we make choices.
Okay.
I did not want us to seem too eager to join.
I have no particular interest in joining them. But
My
if
one-
you-
Looks like we're
My
getting
one
more
thought,
fun.
well, my one thought is information.
Hmm.
And
Welcome.
if necessary, since they'll be drinking, it would be much easier to eliminate them if we have to.
Welcome Raiders from Tales from the Grim. Welcome everyone. Welcome Raiders. Thank you so much for the raid. We are having an encounter in the desert where potential enemies have asked to make camp with our small party.
So,
Come join us at our camp. The night is young.
I can show you how to be a shield.
And thank you Kiana for that sub. You have a reroll to gift a player of your choice. Thank you so much. That's 9 months. 9 months. Enjoy your new badge. So, do you return to your tens?
Yes.
What do you tell the princess? She is eager for information when you return. Well, do they seem to be hostile? Will we need to be wary
They
all the
do
night?
I doubt we need to be wary. Their leader seems to be some sort of nobility. Just from his bow. They plan on drinking. They've got lids of wine with them. I think it might be a good opportunity for information.
Are they?
They have said we are welcome in their camp.
Do you think they carry my sister's head?
It is hard to tell.
It's something that is hard to bring up in conversation.
Surely not for you, Hodir.
I could have maybe said like, "Hello, would you like to fight? Do you have any heads on you?" But
I can show you how to be a shield.
it felt a bit awkward to say, so I didn't.
I was jesting, but yes, thank you, Hodir. And also thank you, Malhadale, for that sub. What is best in life to support amazing TTRPG content? Well, thank you for saying so, and you have a reroll to gift to a player of your choice. I mean, surely, no matter what happens, this can only be bad, right? I mean, best case scenario, we happily camp together and then move on in the morning, but what if they send a scout back to the city to tell them that there's an armed troop heading towards Zamora? Or what if they wait until we're sleeping and then decide to take all of our weapons and try and convert our younger soldiers and try and attack us all? Or what if we do go over there and celebrate and they I don't know.
I wish I could say that you're just paranoid. Unfortunately, those are all very, very valid.
Well, I will not be sleeping tonight, so I will be keeping watch.
I'm not sure I'll be able to sleep much either. Unless I drink a distinct more wine, but I'd rather keep my wits about me.
I was going to say my concern with you drinking more wine. Well, yes, you can generally hold it. Mouths get loose when people drink. I am thinking, though, what we may very well end up doing is seeing what information we can get, and then to make sure that they don't become any sort of problem. I mean, they will be drinking.
We should come up with a reason why we have outsiders with us in the company.
Outsiders?
Well, these two clearly are not North like us. They could be merchants, maybe, or some minor nobility that we are escorting. I was very vague on purpose, so they have no idea what we are doing or why.
Local guides, maybe? You say you're from the north. It's a snowy land. You wouldn't know the desert? I mean, I know we've been traveling through the desert for a long time, but it's a ruse.
Unfortunately, I did make it sound like I have been here for a long time and would wish to return someday. So that one will not work.
You also do not look much like a guide.
I could blacken my face, make it look dirty.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Go do that.
Or some people travel with their partners, do they not? And some people meet partners in other lands. I think that would honestly be the easiest way to explain the people who are outsiders, so to speak, in the group, when really the group is the outsiders and the two people here are from here.
It could work.
That is, if you guys are okay with that idea.
I am fine with whatever keeps us alive.
What exactly are you suggesting, Mimir?
If they ask, we say we are partners.
I mean, yes, sure. She takes another drink of wine.
While Chat loses his mind.
We should figure out who we want to say as partners then, so as not to get confused later.
I think I am a bit old for you, all of you, if that is... and
Actually, what are the customs here on relationships and such? We might need to know that.
Well, for royalty, they generally recommend marriage for children, but things are fairly open other than that.
I think it would be a bit silly to pretend we are royalty.
Okay, I meant... It's an open... whatever kind of mix we prefer.
In other words, there is not a standard age thing. There is no, this person is too old, this person is too young. These two are too far apart. These two are too different.
When I turned 18, my father took a new wife younger than I. Generally, things that the royalty do are accepted by the people.
So I do not believe that that would be an issue then.
Okay.
Why don't we let the women decide then?
Princess like nearly like chokes wine as she's drinking it and is like, no. You may decide.
I think that the best will be if I pretend to be Hoder's partner, as I think I can not react poorly to things that might haphazardly come out of his mouth.
Don't really understand what you're implying.
Maybe the princess is a little tipsy because she does giggle at that.
Oh dear. You're very, very, very blunt and to the point. Even at home with women, occasionally, you couldn't be quite so blunt.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, yes, there are plenty of women who, yes, you can, but it seems women here are slightly softer.
I did not notice.
I'm not talking about appearance.
Neither was I.
Just being clear.
The princess says nothing. If anything, the room goes a little cold that direction. Not a lot, but just a little. Like maybe there was that a pointed look? No.
Well, would you want me there when you are talking to the High Priestess nobility stuff? I don't feel like it is a good idea for me to be there. I'll wander their camp and talk to soldiers, to priests, whoever. See if I can get any information that way.
That seems wise.
You guys are much better at conversations and drinking and talking.
If we
Oh,
want
I'm sure you drink just fine. You just choose not to.
Well, I did once, many years ago.
If we want to pass, it may be better to go for nobles with my accent, as a more in minor nobility would speak Aquilonian to try and, well, act the pretender, I suppose.
Do we want to pretend to be Zamorian? Well, I mean, those of us that have to pretend to be Zamorian royalty, though, if given the situation?
Oh gosh, no, not royalty. Perhaps minor nobles,
Okay.
though. Perhaps
Okay.
people who have been given a small amount of land, maybe some people to look after.
Sure. That makes sense.
We could possibly even be traveling from... Okay, you know we could be traveling from one of the slave camps, from one of the mining operations or something like that. It would be the Aquilonians that would actually be running the place, but I don't see why their daughters or something wouldn't be making alliances with people from other clans, other races.
I like this. I think this is a good plan.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so do we head over and, well, information gathering, right?
It's
Okay, is there anything that any of you would like to do to prepare for heading over to the opposing camp's tent?
Good.
I believe I would make sure a couple of the older children are up and tell them if they hear things get out of hand over at the other camp. To rouse the rest of the children, and it's time.
Yeah. So if you're speaking to I never have the names list up until I need it, and then I have this horrible thing where I try and remember one of their names whilst I get the.
Well, we know Snotty was. I want to throw out Mir's last name, and I know that's not it. Oh, geez, me too. No.
Brunhalt, Bornhold, Yorick, Oddbjorn. Those are the oldest four.
Yep.
Oh, and Thyssen as well, I suppose, for a female touch on the group. She was one of the oldest females.
Yeah. So yeah, probably would have at least had those. What's that? 5, 6?
5. Yeah.
6. Yeah, would at least have them up.
Is Snotty still on punishment detail? Looking,
No, that would have ended when we actually left town.
Okay.
He's had enough of that, I'm sure.
And he's on best behavior again now.
Yeah, that's just.
I can do anything better than you can.
While everyone else is preparing, I'm gonna wander into their camp.
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna wander around. If I come across one, I'm gonna talk to a slave.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can come across one certainly. They'll be fetching water from the train and bringing it to the main tent, and wine and other things. There is a train of them working, and a monk watching over them, but the monk doesn't seem bothered by you when you approach. You just hear the blind one. Yes, well, good to see you.
Hello. I'm just wandering around.
Yes, well, by all means. If you need one of these for anything, you may use their services for a short while.
That is appreciated. I'm gonna wander up to one and say, hello.
Yes, master.
You are a slave?
Yes.
I was too once. And then I decided not to be. Well, have a good day. Goodbye.
I mean, you can't see it, but you might hear his jaw hit the sand. As you walk away. Who knows what happens? Who knows? Maybe they take that advice on board. We certainly won't find out in this moment. As you leave walking distance, you do hear the monk say, well, if he gave you a job, get on with it. Otherwise, back to work.
I'm just wandering off.
Okay. Any other prep?
No, I'm just gonna wander for a while everyone else gets ready and goes over to.
Okay.
I would make sure one of the kids has the bow, has my other bow, and is. Yeah, well, I guess I'll give it to the princess because she's been practicing.
Yes, and Tiliang, she sort of looks at you for a moment. I think you might fit. Come with me. We're going to dress you as a noble.
Okay.
I've managed to squirrel away a couple of dresses while we were in the city. Don't let anyone know I spent some of the rations money on nice things. I thought it might come in handy. She lies. You're good enough at deception to know when she's lying to you.
Okay.
And she takes you to her section of the tent where she keeps her satchel of items that she carries with her, and at the bottom of the satchel she pulls out 2 outfits, sort of like a harem pants and fancy top style outfits in pink and blue. Sort not bright pink and blue like a cartoon, but sort of pastel, almost sandy colours of items that have been dyed almost certainly in the desert.
Okay. So I'm gonna wear all of these?
Yes. I recommend you wear the shawl unless you are dancing. In which case I would throw it off almost altogether or use it as a ribbon.
Okay.
And
Okay,
she
so
just starts getting changed next to you. Would you prefer the pink or the blue?
Ink?
Certainly. I've always thought blue brought out my eyes better anyway.
Okay.
And yeah,
Tilly's only ever worn clothes to cover her body, so the idea of like choosing something because you like the color just it goes right past her.
of course. And this is almost a perhaps some of the training inspired this, who knows, but this is almost a belly dancer's outfit, but a very fine one. The embroidery would make it a noble's outfit. There's none of the tacky, like, dangling ornaments or anything like that. There's just fine embroidery, and I said specified tacky, not all dangling ornaments are tacky.
Yeah, she'll take a look at the details and start appreciating the craftsmanship and become a little more comfortable with the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, look, chat, I specified tacky because I meant nothing too gaudy. Thank you. Fook knows what I mean. Discreet ornamentation.
It's classy.
Classy. My God, I didn't realize I'd insult so many people in such an innocent sentence. So we now addressed minor nobles.
Okay. What house?
Did you ever learn an Aquilonian accent?
Yes. And she'll rattle off. She'll say, "I speak Aquilonian fairly well," in Aquilonian.
Yeah. So for our purposes, we'll say that the Aquilonian accent is just incredibly British.
Ooh, what then?
Close enough. Possible.
I do a Hollywood version of all accents that I do.
Ah, yes. Well, that should be perfect.
All right.
No, I mean, I suppose we should wait for Mimir. I think Hoda's already left.
I think he's going out and gathering information on his own. I hope I didn't offend him.
I wouldn't have thought so. Honestly, he spends more time mumbling to his god than anything else. You must have seen him in the evenings.
Yes. All right.
I mean, I spent a few months trying to annoy him. I don't think anything annoys or sways that man in any direction, to be honest.
Well, I thought everything annoyed him, but
Oh.
I might be wrong.
Like, that's a new take on things for the princess.
Yes. So we'll find Mimir and head over?
I'm ready if you are. The bow would be fine for traveling the desert. Yes, this is good. So you go to find Mimir? Mimir is still conferring
Yes.
with the children? Did you want to roleplay the conferring, or are you happy to just give them instructions?
I'm just happy with giving them instructions.
Okay. So as you finish giving them instructions, you see Tiliang and the princess approach you in dancer's gear.
Every second of silence, Tilly becomes perceptibly more uncomfortable.
No, it looks good. Is this how nobles dress?
Some do, especially minor nobles. It's how I used to
don't-
dress in the palace.
I don't believe I've seen any minor nobles in that case. Okay.
Probably the princess is perceptively glad that she didn't end up with the pink dress because she might match it. As she becomes quite red in the face. Well then, shall we go over to their encampment and enjoy their wine and find out what information they have?
Well, yes, I think we should.
You should lead, ideally, Mimir. Not only are you the leader, you're...
Well. Okay. So Mimir's going to go ahead and take the lead over to the other camp.
Chat, calm it down just a little bit. Too much sand. Oh, okay. So you are heading across then. You'll probably. Oh dear, will they see you wandering around?
Absolutely. Probably pass by them. You look very beautiful.
Thank you, darling.
Have fun. And he walks off.
Well, Tiliang, it seems. Oh dear. Doesn't have much interest in the ruse. You, after all.
Mm-hmm. I think I should find myself all right with that.
We should head to the priestess's tent, I guess, and introduce ourselves.
Yes, we shall.
I believe that is how these things usually work. What is usual protocol for that here? Probably should have asked before we came over.
I'm sure they'll understand. They're probably glad of having a whole unit at their back rather than just a few guards.
Yes. I'm sure. All right. Well, you ready then?
I'm nearly a pitcher of wine down. If I'm not ready now, I never will be.
Okay. So, there goes the tipsy not drunk.
I'm just tipsy.
Nah.
Besides, you started it.
I did indeed. I assume it's not your first time and you know how to handle all that, then. I don't think I've ever seen you actually make a fool of yourself.
Please, I'm not Brunhold. I only started one fight in the city.
Started a fight in the city.
Did you not see that? Oh. Perhaps this isn't the time. We'll speak later on.
Yes.
I got awfully passionate about the Zamorans uprising. It didn't end well. There was a fire.
Depending how things go, fire may not be horrible here either. Anyways, we should probably enough of this talk. On we go then.
Wait.
Indeed. When you come to the tent, you can hear a booming laugh. A female presenting booming laugh, at least. I'm trying to think if I can do this or not. No, I can't hit the register. It's a loud laugh. Sounds slightly tipsy also.
If the information we were given is correct, that is probably the priestess.
I do believe so.
I wonder which priestess that is.
You recognize her?
It is one that has a son.
It could be. Daenerys, possibly.
Will that be a problem then?
No, she wouldn't know me. We hardly ever talked. As far as I know, she's an amenable enough priestess. Does the king's will. Drinks. My God, does she drink? But I don't think we should have a problem. She
We'll keep our eyes out.
was a close ally of my father's, though. I'm surprised she would carry... I mean, I suppose we don't know yet, but I'm surprised she would carry my sister's head with her.
I'll bet that if you get an opportunity to get her off on her own, to ask her about it.
Yes, why don't we say that we stopped in Yazud on the way through and saw the...
No, it makes sense where we're at.
And it would give me an opening to ask questions about that as well. We can say we saw the presentation.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Oh, best smiles on then, I suppose. And she will pull aside the tent cloth for you both to enter.
Okay. Mimir, having kind of picked up, would go ahead and enter ahead.
Billy follows after.
And the princess follows behind you. Inside, there is a mass amount of cushions, scatter cushions everywhere. Clearly, this priestess has the term gaudy isn't one that she registers, as there are different cushions of all sorts of different embroideries and colours all over the place. The place is just covered in the things, and she lounges on them with a pitcher in hand and two more on the floor in front of her. She is... best way to describe this woman is the female Friar Tuck. She wears priest's outfit. She has blonde hair, which is cropped short, and wears the flowers that you've seen before, with a small medallion at her crest, a gold medallion, not something you've seen on any other priests. And when she sees you all, she welcomes you with open arms. Nearby is the guard which you saw earlier on, not in his armor anymore, but standing, still armed, still with a sword at his side. He has a glass of wine in his hand, but possibly hasn't touched it. And there is no sign of the second voice you heard earlier on, Tilyang.
Okay.
Welcome to my tent. Please come, sit, enjoy yourselves. My name is Danira, Priestess Danira. Come, join me. What are your names?
I am Mimir Bjarnason. I'm from the Northern Territories. This is my my partner, Syra.
The princess curtsies and says, "A pleasure to meet you, Danira."
And this is Tilyang.
Copy what the princess did.
Come now, sit with me. You must tell me all the things that have been that you have seen on your journey. I have not been out of Zamora for such a long time, and it's wonderful to be out here again. And she takes a long quaff from her pitcher. You can see some red staining on her white gown.
Well, I am quite jealous of you having spent so much time in civilization. I'm quite thirsty for it. We have been on the road a bit and just came from this little dumpy town. What was it called again? I forget. It had some...
Yazud, Tilyang, the city.
Yes. Yazid. It's a city, but not... I mean, only in name, really. It's not quite as nice as the capital city or other large establishments.
Oh, yes, well, it has nothing on Zamora, but still, better to be in civilization than wandering the desert. Although, actually, I like I say, it's been so long that I'm quite enjoying it.
Yes, I can see the novelty of comfort wearing out at some point and trying to rough it as the others do. Was surprised to see someone of your station out this way, given this current situation happening.
Matters of religion. Pilgrimages must be followed after all.
It's true, the gods wait for no man's plan.
Syra comes and loops her hand under your shoulder, Mimir, and they sort of guide you over to the cushions to sit you down.
Okay.
Please.
It does seem like
Grab a
a bit
glass.
of a nasty. While we were in town, it seems a bit of a nasty business going on in the capital.
She takes another quaff from her thing. Less of a quaff this time, more of a sip, and is like, "Oh, do tell me more."
With the beheadings.
Yeah, so you've heard of that awful business. Yeah, such a shame. Some reckon that the Aquilonian Emperor is deliberately trying to sow seeds of dissent. Tell me, Mimir, what is your take on it? Her eyes watch you from above the picture.
I mean, beheading a royal family is definitely a way to sow seeds of dissent. As for the reasoning, I can't imagine why. It could also be a means of controlling people, of saying a show of power.
A show of power, perhaps. Do you know much about Aquilonian military victories and battles?
I do not.
Very low kill rates, very few fatalities. An awful lot of slaves, though.
I seem to have seen a lot of that around England. I was wondering how You guys managed to have quite so many. I guess turning to slaves rather than just killing off people you defeat would be an efficient enough way.
Yes, it's one way. It's a shame it happens to my people so often. I think after a few years of oppression, they might find some backbone and start to rise up. And this time she eyes Tiliang and Syra. It clearly Zamorans themselves. More gauging a reaction than anything else. If you spare a glance, you can see Syra's face is red again, but this time not from embarrassment.
I do not know if this is something for me to speak on, as it is not my land.
Yes, we actually come from one of the slaving camps ourselves. It's an efficient system. Does the tent go that awkwardly quiet?
Yeah, I think so.
She lets it hang for a moment. And is like, come, get yourself some glasses. Drink up, drink freely in my presence. You are safe, and we are safe here with your guards and our guards, and all of us are safe. With that, why don't we pan outside and see what Hodia's doing?
I would like to talk to a priest. So yeah, I'll wander up to, as I'm wandering, maybe even the same guy who was overseeing the slaves, and I'll say, "Hello,
Hello.
you're a priest, yes?
Yes.
So
And
you have a god?"
You are a priest too.
"No, I'm not a priest. I'm a warrior."
Yet you see with your faith. I can feel it. You have such conviction.
When you get to a certain age, you tend to know who you are and where you're going. I would not say I'm a priest. I talk to my god.
Fair enough. It is good to have faith.
Yes. So, I hear the sloshing. What is that? Is that wine?
Water and wine, yes.
Do you have a lot of both? I guess if you're traveling through the desert, you
Oh,
have
yes.
to be well supplied.
We have enough to keep all of us and the slaves full of water until we get to Yazud. And we have enough wine to keep Danira plenty happy on the way as well.
Yes. I heard the sounds of merriment from the tent, so I imagine that is quite a lot of wine.
Yes, she's quite got a taste for it. Though...
So,
Go on.
well, why are you going to Yazud?
Oh, pilgrimage. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately?
No, it's a pleasure to do our god's bidding, of course.
Really? That is not my experience.
You hear him sort of turn towards you with a new interest. Do tell me of your experience.
My god tells me to do things. Sometimes it is annoying.
That's a new perspective, certainly.
What's yours like what you are told to do by your god?
Well, I have the added convenience of my god also being alive.
Okay.
The Emperor,
How does that...
of course, is at least the hand of our god. We do his bidding.
Probably makes him a bit more difficult to avoid as well.
Yes, especially when they command armies and.
As far as I'm aware, my god does not have an army.
I mean, it brings with it an element of safety.
Okay. So, what is your pilgrimage about? Are you taking the word to Yazud? Because I'm pretty sure they have already heard the word over there.
No, Daenerys wishes to visit the 4 cities to visit the local shrines there.
Okay. What is the 4 cities?
Yazud, Krosha, and Yaralet.
Look, I'm not a genius, but that is 3 cities, not 4.
Well, Zamora, of course, is the 4th.
Oh, so you have already been to one.
Yes, well, we are from Zamora.
So she wishes to visit the 3 cities.
Yes, if you wish to be pedantic.
I sometimes do.
I cannot often tell if you're joking, but I find you humorful.
I hear that a lot.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know.
You don't know as in you can't place the feeling, or you don't know, you haven't thought about it?
I haven't ever really thought about it. I find having conversations with people can be taxing. I spent a lot of time by myself on a pilgrimage of my own of a sort. So I'm not used to people.
You visited shrines, or?
No, I just wandered around.
That... I'm not sure if that sounds better or worse.
Well, it was just me and my god and my horse.
My name's Edward.
My name is Hodir.
Would you share a cup of wine, Hodir?
I do not drink, but if you have some water, I will share.
I would gladly share my water with you.
Sounds good.
And he puts a water flask in your hand.
I will drink it. To gods, wherever they may be, and however insane they might be.
And however taxing.
I imagine your god does more taxing than mine.
Well, literal taxing, yes.
Yes, that was the joke.
See, yes, I both knew and didn't know. You have a very dry humor, Hodir.
I'm in a desert.
I suppose that'll do it. That'll do it. Yes. As he bursts into laughter. With no need for wine. You've earned this man's friendship one way or another.
What was his name, Edward?
Edward.
Well, I must carry on wandering the camp, but I like you, Edward. It is not often I like people. I hope I do not have to kill you ever.
What a strange thing to hope, but me too,
Really?
I suppose.
I mean, if you like someone, surely you hope you do not have to kill them one day.
I mean, it's not something you generally... It's not at the top of the things I hope about them. I mean, it's sort of like one of them unspoken things. Like, you know, I hope there's not a scorpion in the cesspit or something like that. You know, no.
I had not really thought about it. Generally, if I like people, I do not want to kill them. But to each their own, I guess.
To each their own, indeed.
Skull!
Cheers.
And I'll wander off.
Why don't we pan back inside the tent? Just, I've caught Mimir at the perfect time, clearly. Sorry about that. Maybe she brought out some snacks. There's some light delicacies being handed around. The sort of snacks you can eat with one hand.
Okay.
I do enjoy these. It's been quite a while since I've enjoyed the fruits of the desert.
They're just different from fruits from where I'm from. But they are very tasty.
Yes.
What do you call this?
Question. This is you're eating a rakti fruit. The rakti fruit is born of a certain type of succulents and is dipped in sugar to sweeten the flavor. It's quite almost citrusy. And if that's a real thing, don't at me. So, you are traveling to Zamora. You said you were coming from the slaving posts.
Yes.
To what end do you travel?
Much like you, we like to get out every so often. It's nice to go see the capital every once in a while.
Yes, indeed. You have no petitions for the king or anything like that? Emperor.
No, I do not think so.
Her eyes lay on Syra for just a second too long before she drinks again. Syra is gladly drinking another glass of wine. The captain nearby hasn't participated in the conversation much. He doesn't seem to be wary, but also doesn't seem to be relaxing. He's in a sort of almost semi-stable state between looking relaxed, but not enjoying himself. After a while...
No, we are having...
Go on.
No. We're having quite a lovely time, but it looks like your man over there is... well, it looks like he could loosen up a touch.
Oh...
You there, why don't you come over and take a seat and...
Yes, gladly. Milady De Niro, would that be okay? Yes, of course, join us! Oh. You're making the place look untidy. Get some wine down you, for God's sake. You're making me feel sober.
Is sobriety a bad thing, then?
Often. I use wine as a vestule to serve my gods, both the new and the old.
I'm not sure I quite follow your statement, but okay. I mean, I understand that some priests drink for their gods. And I guess it doesn't matter.
She leans forward conspiratorially. I'll tell you a thing about wine. Have you ever drunk enough wine that you start seeing things? Delusions
No.
that aren't real.
I don't know if I've ever had that much to drink. What sorts of things do you see?
Well, that's just the thing. Anyone can drink themselves stupid. But when I drink a certain amount, sometimes the things I see become true. Other times they don't.
How do you know which is which?
I don't. I just drink and tell people what I see. And let them sort it out.
Well, it sounds like a fine profession.
Indeed. It would seem that one of the things that I drank came true.
And what is that?
I foresaw our little gathering. I knew it would be of great importance that I invite you and welcome you and not attack you in any way or slander you. I don't know yet why, but here you are. Best I play by the dream rules. And hence we are all safe.
It is my understanding, at least from in my culture, that when people have these dreams and they try to change them, that they cannot be changed.
That is true. Sometimes warnings are issued. If you see a dream you like, best to do what you did in the dream, right? Hmm?
That seems sound advice. So you didn't get a whole lot of detail. You just saw that there'd be a group of people that you would meet.
Yes, yes indeed. I saw that we would meet and drink wine and be merry, and we would each go back to our tents safely at the end of the night, and we would go on in the morning. I invited you to my tent, or invited you to join us, for us to join you, rather. And either way, as long as everything gets on, then everything is fine.
It's an ironclad system.
It feels that way. Mimir, you look a little pale.
Where I'm from, dreams are rarely good things. They are usually portents of danger of some sort.
Seems most unfortunate. Fear is a powerful motivator. I don't suppose your priests or witch doctors or whatever it was. I mean no insult. I really don't understand the Northman culture. I don't suppose.
I would not say that we were so much ruled by fear. I mean, yes, there's a fair amount of war. As there is with any place that has tribes. But no, it's just more of a... When you have war, you're going to have more bad portents. I'm sure that's part of it. But even in our old stories, even when a dream was told as a good one in our old stories, there was always something that told you there's something off, and then something bad would happen. I don't know. That's no.
But
You're making it worse, Spook.
It's gonna seem very weird in the video without context of chat, to be honest.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just everyone breaking down.
Let's not explain though. Let's leave it that way. That'd be. Everyone.
You
can do
missed
one.
it. Sucks to be you.
Yeah. Sorry, YouTube. This one's just for the Twitch chat. So, she, after another long moment, she stands, which is a bit of an affair. There's a bit of a rock and a tumble. Eventually, she gets to one knee and almost staggers up. But as she
Would
staggers,
you like some help up?
no, I am fine. I am a priestess. She stands scooping up a pitcher and walks over towards your glass, Mimir, and pours more wine sloppily into your glass. And does the same for you, Tiliang, and for Syra.
I would like to stealthily. I'll be nursing it for a while, but I want to, when nobody's looking, to kind of dump a little out if I can.
Okay, yeah, sure. This will only be difficulty 1, because there are, as I mentioned, a number of cushions which I'm sure you could hide a stain in the on the ground with.
Sure. What was the roll again? Sorry.
Stealth roll, only difficulty 1.
Stealth roll.
There we go. Unfortunately, we are still at max. We've used up the chat momentum. So we are still at max momentum, so you don't get the extra momentum. But on a critical success, you can drain the glass if you want to without anyone noticing.
Yes, I will do that.
And she, as you do this, she's filling another glass and turns to you and says, "Well, now come. What do you all do for fun of an evening? I like to play games. Perhaps you know some."
In the north, we have a couple games I don't think you quite... Unless you guys regularly do games throwing axes, I don't think that's quite what we're looking for here. But we dance. We do lots of dancing.
You know, I used to dance in my youth. I'm sure I still know a step or two. Where's your blind guard? He was here in the dream.
Oh, he likes to be a bit free range and sort of take in all the sights or all the sounds rather of the places he's at. Social butterfly as well, probably flitting between folks out there and talking their ear off until their patience winds down and they kick him out. Oh,
wonderful.
But always give him a chance to make fun of the fact he can't see, because he will make fun of it.
It's quite delightful. It's what pops off the top of his head.
Well, come then. Why don't perhaps I can be one of your partners and we can all dance.
That sounds delightful.
I'm sure one of the priests must know a song or two that they can sing, or maybe even they might have a drum knocking around somewhere. Captain, go and fetch one. You know these people. Go and fetch someone who understands music, and we shall drink until they return.
You have drums.
I do not know, honestly, but I assume they have something.
You mean to tell me you left on a long pilgrimage, knowing that you would have long nights, most likely, and did not make sure you would have musical instruments? One would think that would be a thing that you would be definite about.
No, I made sure merely that I had plenty of wine to help me get to sleep at night.
Maybe in the future make sure of both.
It's good counsel, Mimir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Princess again starts drinking the second glass.
Mimir's probably going to start keeping an eye, knowing it's been quite a bit at this point because, pre-party.
Yeah, you've probably seen her drink this much before, but it would have been on one of the nights where you were really celebrating. But this doesn't feel like celebration wine. This almost feels like you might have seen warriors in your past who would nearly drink themselves stupid before
Courage.
a battle. Mm. Oh dear.
Yes.
As you are wandering the camp, you hear footsteps of a marched pace, and you hear the familiar voice of the captain that you parleyed with earlier. He says, "Just me. I'm going to fetch some drums and music. They are drinking wine in the tent if you wish to join them. Though the priestess says you should have free reign of the camp, so you may truly do what you wish."
Do you think it is worth joining them if I do not drink?
I understand there will be dancing.
I can't say I dance either.
Shame that. Uneven partners at the moment.
Well, maybe you couldn't take my place.
No, I'm part of the problem, unfortunately. No bother. Are you having fun, enjoying yourself? No one's giving you any trouble?
Those are like 3 or 4 different questions. I cannot answer with yes or no.
Okay. Are you having fun?
No.
Anyone giving you any problems?
No, it has been good.
Can we increase our hospitality in any way?
Takes a moment, just staring off into nothing. Do you have any meat?
Now that I can help you with. Come along with me. I'm going to go back to one of the caravans to see if we can find some musical instruments for the party. There'll be some meat back there. I'm sure there'll be some fires amongst the other tents as well. How does this work? Do you need an arm or something, or?
No, I have 2.
Okay, follow me then.
Okay.
And he begins striding away in the sand.
I will follow him. I can hear his footsteps, so.
Yeah. As you as you carry on, we'll pan back into the tent again, where the princess is beginning. She's starting to loosen up a little, and she's like, "I do miss Zamora." And the priestess sort of looks at her and goes, "Oh, did you start there before you went to the slaving colony?" And the princess sort of snaps out of it a little. Is sort of like, "Oh, yes. My father lived there before we went to the colony. I grew up there." "Oh, which part of the city did you grow up in?"
Where is that gentleman with the instrument? Now that it's in my head, I would like to dance quite a bit.
"Yes, where is he? It shouldn't take this long to grab some instruments."
Perhaps an introduction to the steps of the dance, perhaps?
Yes, indeed. Are we going to do one of your dances or one of mine?
Well, I say we start off with one of yours. How about you show us some of the steps there?
Why, yes, indeed. This one is one of the ritual dances, actually, that we used to dance dance before ceremony. And she starts showing you a simple 5-step dance that's really quite easy to pick up. The princess quickly picks it up too. She said she was a dancer, and it's true. She dances very much in time with the priestess. And she looks down at Mimir and offers a hand.
It could not help, long as it is not one to learn how to rain. Rain and snow is the last thing we need up north. And I'm sure you guys do not need any sun dances here.
Do you only dance for purpose, Mimir?
No.
Come, partner.
No.
Enjoy my company. She says with a drunken smile.
Okay. It can't hurt.
The priestess offers her hands to you. Tillian.
I will take it.
And there's got to be a check for this. We can either go with acrobatics.
Athletics makes sense as well.
See, now I always think of athletics being more like sprinting, gripping, lifting.
Athletics is under brawn.
It is under brawn.
There is that.
I would say acrobatics, society, or
observation.
Yes, observation. Observation is a very good one. One success is all you need. You're not trying to impress anyone. You successfully complete the steps. I mean, it's up. I'll let you describe how it looks. You stay standing. You get through the steps of the dance. The princess is dancing with you, Mimir, and the priestess is dancing with you, Tillian. God, that's two very similar words, princess and priestess. You get through the steps without any music. How does this look?
I think it's probably a bit like a line dance, I guess. I don't know how. Time warpy, maybe?
It's totally the time warp.
Okay, so it's pretty much the time warp. There's a few steps to the left and hops to the right, and there's definitely an amount of shaking. It's not long until at least some of you are giggling. It must break the tension a little once, especially the princess. The princess deliberately makes a mistake, so that she looks silly, and she's trying to break the tension. Sheepy, as we come back out to you.
Yes.
At this caravan, the gentleman, the captain says, "Yes, I'll just fetch the drums. Why don't you take this crate here, and this one is full of meat. We'll go and find a fire."
Okay.
Do you need me to take your staff for you?
No, it is fine. I will just look it around me somehow. I assume I've got like a little sling or something, maybe.
Yeah, you can certainly put it in your bag. But he gives you a box which is requires carrying of 2 hands. It's probably 20 to 30 kilos. It's gonna need It's going to need 2 hands to carry. And he says, yes, come with me. And this time when he begins walking, you hear 2 sets of footsteps falling behind you.
Okay. I'll follow. I'm on guard, just so you know.
He doesn't address the people behind you at all. And they're trying to be quiet.
How far is it to the fire?
Oh, it should be just over here.
Can I, does his voice sound slightly on edge, like, you know, prepared to...
Why don't you give me an insight?
Okay. I am going to use a momentum as well.
Yes, of course you can.
There. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is a setup. They're getting ready to cosh you over the head. No doubt about it.
I will just stop, drop the crate, draw my staff. How about here? Is this good enough? Would you like to go a bit further first?
I see. Well, let's have it then. And the 3 men rush you to attack.
Okay.
In this game, the player always goes first unless you are in a ambush. So you would have first action.
I will go for the captain.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll go straight for the captain. And I don't think I have anything aggressive. I do have. I don't need much sleep. I don't suffer from sleep deprivation, so I don't know if that matters. But
Well, it wouldn't be time to sleep yet. It is evening time, but
okay.
You've not been you know, you've not had need to rest yet. You've been well rested up to this point.
And yeah, I think I'll spend momentum as well on this attack.
Of course you can. Yeah, that brings your momentum down to 6 now.
It's down at 6 now. Okay. So I'm gonna use a reroll on that if that's okay.
Yeah, of course you can.
So try that again. Oof. Okay.
Okay, so that's 2 successes with a complication. So first of all, he gets to roll parry as you try to attack him. Oh, but he also has a complication and a success. So as you attack him, your attack hits. It beats his attack score by 1. But you both get complications. I would say roll us your damage first to see what your damage is like.
What's the modifier to damage dice? It's been a while since I've had a...
You should just be able to click on your staff and your character sheet on the combat dice, and it should roll on the table for you.
Yeah, no, but it said input. It says modifier to damage dice. I don't need to do that, do I?
I don't think so, no. Okay, so we've got 1 and an effect. Does your staff have any statuses on it?
Knockdown.
Knockdown. Well, that's easy to say what his complication is then. As you strike him, you manage to knock him to the ground, but your complication is that he tangles up with you. You have the choice. You can either go down with him or release your staff.
I'll go down with.
Go down with. Okay. The 2 other people will rush to attack you.
Okay.
Oh boy. So the first one has no successes. If you'd like to do anything with that, you can. He does have a complication.
Could I use that to pull myself back up?
Yeah, sure. As he comes into attack.
Or pull him down either way.
I would allow a little bit of both, actually. Give me a melee roll just to see how well you do it. One with a complication. Okay, so you just pull him down.
Okay, yeah.
The last one has 1 success.
I will parry.
You beat the attack. You gain a momentum back.
Can I? I'd like to use a I'd like to spend a doom to riposte this guy. With the instead of getting the momentum, could I use it to get back up and riposte? Would that be acceptable? Or...
Yeah, you could use the momentum straight away. Yeah. So melee roll for your riposte, right?
Yes. And I will. I'll use the momentum again on the melee riposte. 3 dice. Good.
Oh yeah, that's almost. I would have thought that's going to strike. Yes, it does. You strike the remaining person standing.
Okay. So. For an effect, I think that was.
Yes, 4 and an effect. The 4 and an effect will beat their armor and get through their soak as well. So not only do you knock this person down, you also deal an amount of stress to them. And it doesn't look like they have a lot as you knock them down and they cry out with pain.
I'm fighting to kill, so.
Okay, it's not enough to kill.
I know, but just for I'm not ever since the beginning of the game, Hoder's never fought to kill or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. But this time, it is.
First time in 15 years.
Why don't we pan back to the tent where the priestess, Tiliang, Mimir, and Syra dance? How many of you?
Drums.
Go on.
Drums haven't arrived yet.
Drums haven't arrived yet. No. She continues to dance, and she continues to dance, and she starts moving out of the step, and moving more into a different step, more sinuous, more liney, as she starts becoming a little more voluptuous.
I do not believe this is the same stuff you just taught us.
No, it's not, but I believe your little one there knows the step, don't you? Syra? And the princess sort of is staring at the priestess. And I mean sort of gormless stare. Even moving her head slightly when she dances in time.
And
And
I'm going to stumble and knock into the princess.
before you do, could you please give me get the right thing? Discipline or sorcery roll. Difficulty 1 success.
I am going to spend a momentum.
Of course. 1 success, you are not under the spell.
That's good.
How about me? And yes, I'm lowering my doom down by 4 points. Did I see a roll from Mimir?
Oh,
Sorry.
you said Tilly.
Yeah, both of you, sorry. Oh, yeah, no problem. I didn't realize Mimir knew so much sorcery. So the priestess is slightly vexed, and Tiliang, you may stumble into them.
All right. Specifically the princess. I mean, if it's both of them, that's fine. And
you have free action, is what I'm saying. You can describe what you want to do, and we'll play it out.
Pretend like I'm trying to do the new dance, and then stumble on the princess and say, "Oh goodness, I think I've had too much wine. Should we head back to the camp now?"
The princess is knocked and sort of looks to you for a moment, but really her eyes are wanting to go back to the priestess. And the priestess says in a slurred tongue, "Yes, perhaps it is time we ended the night's revelry," as she begins to transform into a snake. And that's where we're going to wrap up this week's episode. Lot of frustration there. I apologise. Are we okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah, a lot of frustration from chat as well. We'll find out what happens next week, everyone. Big love. Now, we're doing things a little differently this week. Instead of going around and doing a big outro like normal, instead we are going to head over to the Zoom chat, and that's where we are already. We're going to head into the Discord chat where we talk about today's show, and instead we will be giving out some credits and going on a raid during the credits. We'll be over there briefly. Before we go to that, is everyone okay? Are you guys all good? Is this encounter still fun?
Yeah. I just want to know if all my DMs are talking to each other, because why are they all ending in combat?
I don't know what you mean. I don't know. Okay, well, without much further ado then, guys, we're going to head over to the Discord where we can talk about things. We don't have a raid cry yet, I don't think. I don't think Poop Snow is the raid cry. That doesn't seem legit to me.
I think there was a good one earlier, though.
I'm
If
trying
I
to
can
remember.
scroll down enough.
I like you.
Yeah.
I hope I don't have to kill you later.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like you. I hope I don't have to kill you later. Was there another one like from?
I can't get to it. It's too far back. There was another one, and it was where again. Hodor. Sorry. Oh, God, why? Get me out of character, and I can't say the name anymore. Great.
I mean, Hodor says a lot of stuff, so you know.
No, that's true.
He did say a lot.
Was it the slave one? I was a slave, and then I decided not to be. Goodbye.
That'd be a good one.
I like that.
And
yeah.
then I walk away. Yeah.
So it would be.
I was a slave, and then I decided not to be.
I'll
See you later.
let Tater do that one. Tater, if you could get that up in the chat, that'd be fantastic. I see you lurking there in chat. Thank you so much for setting that up for us. We're going to go to credits. We'll meet you in the Discord where we talk about our favourite parts and all the ships and everything. And in the meantime, we will see you all later on. Have fun, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
You're just in time. Quick, get